ticket purchased, and that's me now heading to Glasgow Queen Street to meet up with J-Mac and Matthew Man.
Sean, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. We've just came out of the red carpet screening of your lovely wee film. Now, I understand that this film was 16 years before you managed to get it finished and out. What was the story behind the time it took, and what was the struggles behind that?
I think we were a wee bit over ambitious. We had made a film before that was like £600 or something. So making this one, we were like, oh, this will be fine. And then funding kind of fell through last minute. So we started off quite well. We had like 22 crew. We were living in tents and stuff like that and making it. But as things kind of go on, people fall away and they can't come back, and your money runs out, and it just took a bit longer to get there. And also, we're filming in Scotland, so there was like snow, rain, wind, like season all in one day. Like people are saying, like, "Oh, you filmed that scene in 2 different days," and I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Like, we haven't. Sorry.
Is that your mum?
That's my mum.
That's totally staying in, by the way. Wait, let's make sure. Is that still on? Just to press the
where was I? It's just different things got in the way. Everything that could go wrong went wrong with the film. Actors couldn't turn up. We had to recast them and reshoot the whole thing. And then you're kind of asking people to work for no money, so they're doing things in their spare time, like the sound mix or the score and stuff like that. So it just took a really long time to get finished.
Aye.
And then it sat in a drawer for about 8 years until Ryan asked me if he could do something with it.
How did Ryan get hold of it to approach you with it? What was the introduction there?
Ryan was making films kind of at the same time I was. There was a lot of people making films at the time, kind of on a low budget scale, and Ryan's continued to do so quite successfully with Lost at Christmas and Mercy Falls recently. And he kind of came to me and says, like, I've studied the market and horror films sell really well in America, even ones as shite as yours. This is exactly what he said to me. Would you mind if I took it on and tried to sell it? And I was like, well, as long as I get something from it, and B, I don't have to do anything with it. And he took it on, and he did a really good job editing it, and that kind of got me wanting to help again and get it made.
So had you kind of given up on it by that point? Were you just like, it's going to sit in the drawer for?
I think I was just fatigued. I think I was just like, I'd had too much of doing it and too much of asking people to turn up to do this and do that for nothing, that I had nothing left in the tank to try and I didn't really know how to promote it or sell it. And Ryan seemed to have quite a good grip on that. He'd done well with Lost at Christmas with BBC and different places, and he seemed to know what he was doing. So I thought, well, he's better placed than me to try and sell this.
One thing I would say, and don't take this the wrong way, the film looked way better than I expected it to.
That's okay.
Do you know what? I have to commend you on the cinematography was great. Now, you mentioned that you had your DP when you were in there. How did you guys come together?
That's a really funny story. So the DP for most of the shoot is a guy called Mike Webster, who I'd never met before, and as I said, I'd made a film really cheaply. It's never been out for £600, and we showed it, the trailer for it, at a thing called Cafe Flickr, which I don't know if you remember, it was in GMAC.
Oh yeah.
And I had given just like a screener of it to a girl, to Layla, to produce our new film, The Bench, but she was flatmates with Mike. So Mike came up to me at this thing and he says, I love your feature film, Point Life. I'd love to be involved in this. And I was like, well, how have you watched it? And he's like, kind of pirated your film. And I kind of copied the DVD and watched it. And I was like, okay, I admire that. So we came along and we shot like a fake trailer for it, really.
Right.
And I said, if this goes well, we'll see how it goes. And it went really well. And he also worked for a company at the time that could have access to the cameras we needed and stuff like that. So he came on board and shot most of it. And some of it was done by John McPhail, who did Anna and the Apocalypse and all that kind of thing. Yeah. He's a really nice guy as well. He came along before he'd done all this stuff and came along and shot some of the stuff in the torture rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my wife actually worked with the guy that wrote some of, if not all of the music for Anna and the Apocalypse.
Oh,
because awesome. He was a school teacher.
Okay.
Guy, and she's a teacher, so she worked with him. Anyway, that's a by the by. But obviously, another thing that's really important with these types of films in particular is sound. Independent films, sometimes sound can really let it down. I think that sounded awesome. Before you gave it to Ryan, now, I know that Ryan did a lot to do with restoration, digitally transferring the footage onto the formats and stuff. Was there a lot of work involved in getting the sound up to scratch as well, or was that work that was done at the time?
There was a lot of, with my first film and stuff, there's a lot of problems with sound and stuff, so this time we really wanted to get it good. But things can happen. Sometimes I'm doing the sound and stuff like that because there was nobody there. But we had a guy, Joe, who did the sound mix to begin with, and that was good. But I think with Ryan doing it now, Dave McKeach did the sound mix, and because of the advances in technology and AI and all these different things you can do now, he was able to fix a lot of the problems. And I mean, I've seen it like 20 or 30 times now, and watching it with him, I was kind of like crossing my legs, being like, oh my God, like, this is really unsettling at parts. And he kind of prides himself on making people faint during watching the film. So I think like he really went for it, and he's done some incredible job. So a lot of that sound would have been from Ryan's end and Dave and stuff like that. Right. There was sound there, but they went for it and they added a lot of that.
And the sound really plays on it because there's a lot of this. This is, to me, it was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you feel like it's really gory, but it's not actually that gory. There's a lot of stuff happens off screen that suggested it's all happening in here. Was that an intentional thing, or was it purely budgetary?
I think it was a bit of both. I think I'm a bit of a wuss when it comes to horror films myself, so I was probably like, I don't want to put anything in this film that I can't watch. But there was stuff in the script that didn't make it into the film that was a bit more gory, that we just didn't have the time or the special effects to do, or the makeup effects or whatever to do. So there was things cut out, but I think going in, we were always kind of like, we're going to just cut away at certain points and just imply that things happen, because sometimes your imagination's scarier than what actually can be seen. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of films, I think, take it too far, and it's gory, but you're like, well, it's not as scary as it could have been, kind of thing. So it was a bit of both. It was implied, but it was also budgetary.
No, it was really, really well, really effective. Excuse me. Try that again. It was really effective. That's me saying it for the first time. And the cast as well. I mean, again, for an independent horror film shot in Scotland, I think the actors all did a really good job. How did the cast of characters come together for you?
I keep talking about the film you've never seen, but I had done a film before this, so a lot of them were the same cast that we had kind of rounded up through different ways. Who were some of them were quite new, but that helped because obviously they're wanting to get experience and come in and do things. They're not so bothered about we couldn't pay people at the time, but some of the cast that have smaller parts in it were actually meant to be bigger parts. They just ended up getting pulled off to do this or that in different jobs. Joy McAvoy plays a really small part at the end of the film, but she was meant to be my love interest in the film originally, and she got recast.
Yeah, nice move, son.
Yeah. Ilaria, who ends up playing the love interest, I didn't actually cast her because she's really great in the film and she was a model. And I kind of stepped back and said, look, because I'm going to be playing opposite her, I don't want to be accused of just casting a really hot girl. So, so I let the rest of the guys cast her, but she was a model. She knew Chris, who's in the film, and she came in. Matt, who plays Aidan, came in last minute and just blew us away with his audition. He was fantastic. And so we he actually was studying acting under the woman who let us use her land in the cabin that we filmed in. She's an acting teacher, and she recommended him. So it all just, some of them came together last minute. Some I'd known for a while from other things and projects, and some from at the time there was a lot of projects going on, the cruise, just different things in Glasgow that were happening, and we got actors from there and stuff like that coming out.
Now, I know that I don't know how much you can talk about this, but obviously we've seen the red carpet premiere tonight as such. What's the plans going forward? I know that Ryan's kind of taking it under his wing to try and get distribution. Is there going to be physical release for this as well? Or are you just trying to get a cinema run and see where it goes? Or
I honestly don't know. I know that Ryan's dealing with that. Obviously, I'd love to see it in the cinema or a physical release, but I really don't know. Because it was shot in HDV, I don't even know if it's technically, if they would accept it or anything. I think he's going for streaming, but I don't know. It's completely up to Ryan at this point in time. He knows a lot more than I do, so sorry, I don't have much more to say about that. But
no, that's fine. I get, just to wrap up, I want to say congratulations because we made a wee short film a while ago. We know how hard it is to make a film, especially with very little money, and I think you've done a great job, and I hope a lot more people see it. You've done
Thank you.
A great job.
Cheers.
So
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks
Cheers.
for your time.
Thank you for having me. Cheers.